bellissimo.
Beautiful. Emotional. Okay. That was quite unexpected and hysterical, but okay, because there was a lot of music, but... So congratulations for surviving until this plenary session. So in this plenary session, which is the second plenary session today, we'll talk about something that passionates all of us, which is phygital. And this is a pun in Italian because a phygital really is very look-alike. It sounds like pussy in Italian, okay? So yes. So we have also a lady here with us. I'm so happy. And in any case, you are inclusive because you have chosen two ladies to present the plenary sessions. So I personally have no idea what phygital is about, but here we have guests who perfectly know it and will explain it in a very clear way. But in any case, the big organized distribution in the food sector is another topic we'll speak about. Sounds like... something very far away from us, but this is true and in our daily lives. We know that supermarkets have never stopped working during the pandemic, and the people working there never stopped working, and that was very stressful for them. They've always kept on working with or without masks when people were nice or even very very rude to them. They've always kept on working, so big round of applause for them. So the big distribution, big organized distribution in the food sector. We know that now they are different from the past. So retailer, the term retailer, even in Italian, has changed its meaning through the years. But digitalization has come to supermarkets and even in this sector. So I'd like to introduce you the panelists this afternoon. So our guests, I will introduce them in alphabetical order, and I have a disclaimer for you. So Maurizio Biaggi is a general manager of Mersey Sailing. So I have to say sorry to you because I was expecting you to be sitting in alphabetical order, but you're just right here behind me. So after Maurizio Biaggi, we have Vanni Chioccoloni, CIO of PAC 2000A. Good evening. Fabio Funari, then. Good afternoon. Sales Director, Public Sector, CSR Country Lead, Dell Technologies, Italia. And the title is in English, even in Italian, oh my goodness. Okay, and Raffaele Latorre, CIO of Gruppo Sogegros. Good evening. Claudio Latanzi, Innovation Director of D-Tech. Good afternoon. And finally, Valentina Pontigia, Director of Innovation Observatories in the Retail and E-Commerce of B2C in Politecnico di Milano Institute. So the first question is for our lady, Valentina. What is the situation of the digitalization process in the big food distribution in Italy? So first of all, we have to say that this has been happening for many years now. There is a transformation in place. The pandemic has just speeded up this process, sorry. And consumers finally are realizing it. So consumers are changing and the retail sector is changing too. So we have seen that e-commerce had a big boost, so online sale has is growing a lot, and the digitalization in selling points and shops has grown a lot, has increased a lot. So even the relationship between the seller and the consumer is changing. We have seen new innovation and new digitalization in this sector, of course, a sector that we would think about being as if it was not so reactive, let's say, to digitalization. But actually, this is not true, and we have seen it in Italy. So these are data witnessing this process. We have carried out this study and this research on 300 top retailers in Italy, and their online sales has passed from 1.5 to more than 2% on their total invoices and turnover. The very important innovation is taking place. So new selling processes in the selling points are taking place. If we consider digital payment, even Italy was among the very last countries developing these modalities of payment in Europe, but this is not the case anymore. And so there are many projects nowadays taking place at an international level. If we think of the e-commerce, the pandemic allowed e-commerce consumers to grow a lot. In a few weeks only,
dell'e-commerce molto forte.
So it increased from 600,000 to 1.2 million. For example, let's think to Spain and Dia that activated a collaboration with Glovo so that more users can actually buy online. If we think to digital innovation within a simple shop, let's consider Sweden, and that is working to have a retail shop that is completely digitalized. So I have my phone, I do my shopping, my grocery shopping, and I don't even get to the cash out. So basically, we just take the checkout out of the process. We consider the mobile phone as the tool that we use, just as we do, for example, for the check-in at the airport. So the challenges towards innovation are numerous. Let's quote some of them. That is, having a shop that is a retail shop that is integrated. So we shouldn't actually distinguish very much the difference between the online experience and the retail experience in person. So the second transformation is that the customer has its need at the center, and this can be true on an economic and environmental point of view, because the topic of sustainability is really, really about this. And the third line of development is within the retail companies, within the food companies, and within the LRO companies. We have been used for years to consider physical places, real places. So we really need to have this digital revolution as interesting all the aspects to bring everything closer to the consumer. Thank you, Valentina. So, are you talking to me? So do you work a lot abroad? Yeah, not very much. It's not my main thing. Vanni, I ask you, my dear friend Vanni, what is happening in Italy, especially in PAC 2008. Who invented this name, this absurd name? Thank you for presenting my name and saying my name correctly, because everyone mispronounces it. So thank you for pronouncing it correctly. How do they change it? How do they change Vanni, Chioccoloni? When I go to the restaurant, I never give them my real name because it is always mispronounced. So I changed my strategy. So as far as the PAC 2008, the name of the company, we're actually considering about a company that is 50 years old. The name is complicated already. It means Perugia Acquisti Cooperativi, so a cooperative of buyers from Perugia. So the name evolved, and we got to a maturity period of the company. So we kept the 2000. So PAC is one of the 5 cooperative companies that make up the bigger galaxy of CONAD at a national level. And our company has been interested in digitalization for a few years, and this process has been intensifying everywhere. So we also focused on this, and as a company, as a business, and me as a representative of the company, I know that we have responsibilities in order to actually trace new ways, go towards new directions, create new processes towards sustainability, because doing business is possible, and we are doing it, and our history shows it. But doing business, sustainable business, is more complicated. So we're trying to create a circular economy that is careful, that takes care of the territory, using and selling fresh local products, for example. As far as infrastructures are concerned, we are trying to just support basically sustainable systems within our platforms as far as distribution is concerned. So we are producing most of the energy, electric energy, that we use from sustainable sources, so natural gas turbines and solar panels. So we basically use these sources in our platform, and we updated all the refrigeration systems, eliminating, the ozone, the substances that are harmful to the ozone. So this is basically what we are doing, and we are trying to aim at actually renewing our company and starting to go towards a more circular economy, and giving back the value that the territory, so the areas where we are, give us. So we operate in 5 regions. We are very present in every territory. And we support each other. So we support the territory, and the territory supports us. So it is this positive dynamics that allows us to go towards sustainability and ethics. So let's consider the chain of food. Let's think of meats, for example. If on the one hand we focus on meat transformation, we also try to shorten and reduce the distance between where this meat is transformed and where it is supplied. So we try to increase our collaboration with local farmers in order to just support excellence producers that often find it very hard to be present in large retail organizations. So we are trying to involve them within the distribution and helping them grow instead of die. We do the same with fruit and vegetable, for example. We created a garden of the neighbor, this brand Orto del Vicino, vegetable garden of the neighbor, that involves small and medium farmers that are present on the territories where we are active. And we involve them within the big distribution, the large retail distribution, even with their small quantities, but they are there. So we give life to a small productive reality. Let's think to Umbria, for example, that has small villages, small cities that wouldn't allow small enterprises and companies to develop. So we involve them because they wouldn't be able to just fight against huge distributors. So let's think to the fishing sector. It has also been involved within the large retail system, and we started a transformation company for the depuration of mussels. For example, mussels are usually managed, and the depuration is managed by producers, but we wanted to provide them, the fishermen, this facility so that we get only what we need to distribute. So this allows us to have a better product and to have less impact on the environment, considering the transport of this. So behind this is a big work of contracts, collaboration, commercial agreements, with the objective of reducing the stress of the product, of the fish. So I will look into mussels and their peculiarities. I'm very curious. What is that? Yeah, I told you something about your socks last time, and now you came without socks. So, do you really travel to find bizarre socks? And they told me that you would have a weird t-shirt. Well, no. I just came with a normal one because I was afraid of your jokes. What is there? It's one of the sentences of Albert Einstein saying that I don't have a particular talents, but I am very passionate and curious. Yeah, it's a very beautiful sentence. So, dear Claudio, we were talking about how technology can help retail in its strategy of care towards people. So let's think to the employees and to the products. Is it really possible? Absolutely, yes. Just others have said, it is possible. Technology, new technologies help us both in the support of retailers and producers in improving the quality of their services and products, and as well in the management of the relationship with the consumer, for example. Because we don't have to think only of our clients, consumers, but also of the employees, of the staff that, it has been mentioned, have suffered these 2 years of pandemic. So as far as Vanni was saying a few moments ago about the fresh food chains, meat, fish, and also fruit and vegetables, what retailers are doing in collaboration with the producers is really towards sustainability, and what we can see is that technology is going the same way, the same direction. One of our latest research and development projects, FTS 21, I am sorry for using this acronym, but it's a project that using the near technology, basically an infrared technology, allows us to share with our retailers very, very simple solutions to use in order to evaluate the cycle of ripening of the fruit and vegetables. And this is a tool that is very important because it provides the retailers a very user-friendly tool that can be used by people that are not very much into technology. Let's think to how young people use technology. It's very easy for them, but older stuff find it more difficult. So this tool is very easy for everyone, and it guarantees also the consumer that he will buy a fresh product. It is sustainable with the objective of giving the customer the best product, but it is sustainable because for the staff, it enhances the evaluation and the economic sustainability of the department, for example, reducing waste. So looking also at other technologies, I am a bit nervous now because of being late. I've got some of my staff involved in the hackathon, and then how do you speak? Why do you use all these English words within one sentence? I understood nothing. What is hackathon? People being together to solve problems that they own created, just like marriage, right? Well, yes, sort of. So if it's weird for you to say it, it would be even weirder to go in the room and see. So I was with one of the developers that was actually working on the software and the development with a Spider-Man mask. So that is a very weird and interesting place. So one of the topic of the hackathon within VAR Group is very interesting. They are interpreting blockchain as one of the reference technologies for food traceability. So what do we eat? Okay, so well, that is a question that is very interesting for us. We ask it very often. Yes, and not always the information that is present on the label of the product is satisfying or enough. The blockchain technology will very likely help us extend this information, and will also help the retailers see the consumer as just another step of the chain. So the retailer represents a common point between the producer and the user. So we speak very much about the involvement, emotional involvement, let's say, of the customer. But for example, let's think to gamification. So the idea of involving the consumer, having him or her express his or her own opinion is very important. These are very simple technologies that could be useful. I just wanted to be quicker and give 1 more minute to Vanni because he loves talking. But I would like to remind you that on top you have a room, the Experience Valley, that is very, very interesting. The ones that put their hands up before are the people working in there. So I would like to invite all the other ones. So you with the red face mask. And the other one with the blue face mask. Yeah, it's like Adam and Eve. So, Silicon Valley? You and the other one, Experience Valley. Is it going well? Yeah? Yeah, super crazy laughs. Yes. So you will be able to see the many technologies that we're mentioning over there. I would like to go. Thank you, Claudio. So I would like to ask you how the big players such as Dell, Fabio, decide to move within this context. Why are you looking at me? Maybe you got my name wrong. Well, Maurizio. Maurizio. I am so beautiful and so stupid. You, Fabio, you are the one that has a super long business card. Yes, the business card answers the question. How do the big player act? Well, Dell has decided to give sustainability a very big and important role, and I've been working on the corporate social responsibility project for 4 years in Italy, and there are leader businesses and companies that just work in this direction. So we're actually focusing on social responsibility. I don't want to say how technology and sustainability are important, because we have been mentioning these concepts a lot this morning and this afternoon. What can we do with technology? Well, let me say this. We still don't know what we can do with technology, because we don't know what we will be doing in 2 years, but what is certain is that sustainability can be addressed through technology. So if you stay and bear with us until the end of my contribution for 1 minute 30 seconds, I will show you a video. But first, I would like to talk to you about Dell Technologies, who is the founder and what is the aim. So Dell founded the company in 1987. And he is still the majority shareholder and CEO. And his objective was giving the company a scope. We produce technology for the progress of the planet and of the inhabitants of the Earth. So within the mission of the company, there is already the answer to sustainability problems that can be about people, about how we use materials, about how we can use a circular economy in order not to overuse our resources, as Jeppy was saying before. If we do not find a mechanism that prevents us from wasting, overusing resources, we will have a bad future ahead. So we're also focusing on privacy, on ethics. Sustainability is really a huge concept that can be used in various different sectors that should be followed with care. I would like to demonstrate how technology has a power to create new job opportunities and to provide a space that can be used to solve problems related to, for example, scarce things like water, for example. So the video will be about the story of Aerofarma.
Hello. Mi è piaciuto molto.
I liked it. Very nice. So, are we done? Well, I stick to the timeline, isn't it? To the timetable. Well, you could actually take some few minutes if you want to add something, but we're going to have a second round. Do you like this video? You knew about it, did you? About these crops. these vertical crops in greenhouses, they allow you to use areas vertically and produce products of very high quality products through artificial intelligence, and they can be picked in the correct moment after for the customer who wants higher quality products and sustainable products. Wow, beautiful. Well, Mr. Biaggi, we have talked about digital transformation and products, but what about the customers, the attention we need to pay to customers? Can we do something for them? Well, digital transformation and the phygital, of course, I come from Emilia-Romagna. It's very difficult to pronounce for me, but it is based upon data analysis. We need to tell our consumers everything about our product. Because, of course, they shop, our consumers shop from their home. So we need to tell them everything to guide them through the purchasing path. And so the consumer prepares his purchase hypothesis from their sofa. That was a big revolution because, of course, we need a lot of data and information on all our products, every single one. And so these required innovation on quality of products even, because a few years ago we just had prices on the label and barcodes. Now we know about calories of every product, and I do think that in the future, sooner or later, we'll know more even about the impact of the product on the environment, and this probably will be shown on the label even. So we always need more and more information on the products we sell to inform our customers so that he knows how the product came, if it's from China, it comes from China, or just a few blocks away from his house. There is another problem even, which is not easy to solve. If we think about supermarkets, the big distribution, generally, people working in this sector generally think about the product, but not enough. They do not think enough about the consumer and the customer. So we both need to focus on both these aspects, so product and customer, because these leads us to let the consumer understand the qualities and the strengths, the strong points of the product zone, of the territory where the product comes from. We need to give value, add value to the product. And if we do not do so, less information comes to the consumer, who will be less interested in buying it online, of course, because he does know very little. So we need to further perfection, get to a further perfection of the service. It's not an easy path. We have to work day by day in order to provide a more competitive and more complete service. If we think about electronic invoice that has been implemented in Italy a few years ago, with digitalization, we automatically register and stock these invoices. So digitalization is good, but we need also to add value to the product and also add value to the job that our workers and employees do. Of course, that's very important. So I will close the second round with Raffaele. You are a Virgo, so I know that Virgos are very perfect and very organized. So is this a good day for you in the list of the signs? Have you read anything? Oh, no, that's a terrible day for Virgos today. But I'd like to ask you about the impact of digitalization and of digitalization on the industry. not just in Italy, but in your sector. So Sogegros is a company from Genoa. We were born 100 years ago. So we are very well known in the area. We have 4 brands, 4 selling channels. We have discounts, supermarkets, and Basco supermarkets, and Schenker and Soja markets. So it's a complex reality, as you can understand. The digitalization process in Sogegros started many years ago. And so I have to say that the pandemic did not find us unprepared. However, I have to say that that was a shock for us, a true shock, because for retail sector, 2020 was year 0 of digital era in a kind of way. And so we were, of course, sort of prepared, but we were shocked in any case. That was a big revolution for us. And after 1 year, the pandemic allowed us to rethink our internal organization that we have had so far. We had so up to that moment. So we have developed a separate channel, selling channel from the brick and mortar selling points. And this is because the customer now, of course, it's the same. Whether you sell in physical shops or online, our customer is the same, and yet you have to approach him or her in a different way. Also, I told you that the customer is the same, but actually it's not very much true, because sometimes they have different needs. So it's very important to understand what the online customer wants and what the physical shop customer wants. There is no doubt that the selling point concepts are based upon solar panels, electrical charging points for electric cars. And so, you know, that big distribution has evolved too, of course. As Conad, we also implemented an approach considering our local suppliers. We have changed our approach. So we are growing the number of our local suppliers, in fact, to be more sustainable, for sure. And many of them are bakers. You may understand that many of them do not even own a PC, so this is very, very complicated. Yet there is a possibility to make their business grow and our business grow too. So this is what we're doing. So this is very interesting. So before moving on, is there any question from the audience? Wow, so curious. Nothing, really. Is there anything you'd like to add, or something? Would you like to speak up your mind? There is someone who is applauding. Okay, no. I see that you are fine with that. So third round of questions. Valentina, let's start with you. So during the pandemic, it's a terrible time, obviously. We for sure continued eating and cooking. So unfortunately, that was not very good for my shape. But so e-commerce websites had a boom, of course. So yes, it's true. So e-commerce was already growing, very fast, and so that was one of the engines of retail even before the pandemic. What has happened in the last period? You can see a graph here. We had a very strong acceleration. Just in 2020 we had 8 billion euros more of online sales, and so you can understand that just in 1 year we had plus 22% of online sales. So this acceleration is due to a new perception in us, the consumers, but also in the businesses and the companies. As we've mentioned, the attitude towards e-commerce has changed. E-commerce is not an enemy anymore, but it's something complementary to the brick-and-mortar sale. So in the next slide, we can see that the food sector was the sector that has grown the faster. You see that we have in 2018, in 2020 we had a boost of 2.9 billion euros, and in 2021 we had a boost of 4 billion euros. So you do in 2 years we had plus 38%. So if we go food shopping, I do consider we have to say something that not all products can be found online, of course, in the food sector mainly. And also, we have to say that when we food shop online, generally we make big food shopping. We buy way more than we do when we go physically in the shop. And so what does this mean? This means that the organization, the supermarket, needs to organize very deeply and to change the way of stocking the products and similars and delivering them. And we know that technology nowadays sometimes can frighten people if people do not work day by day with technology. And so we need to remember that technology has to simplify our lives. And just only like this, if we think about this, we will be able to add value to our products and to answer the needs of our consumers. I'm very theoretical, I know. Less practical than the other guests, but we need to consider that we need to think about our customer and make the online sale very user-friendly in that sense. And to do so, we need a teamwork, a sort of ecosystem made of it, the institutions, the technology, the operators, and the delivery operators in the food sector. They are crucial, of course, and of course supermarkets. And this online food shopping is a big topic that we have to address and continue to further develop. So we have to seize this opportunity, this historical moment, to renew a sector that is crucial in our society. The first expenditure item for us Italians is actually food, and so in our families. So this is why we need to renew and continue making new projects on this sector. So Raffaele, what about the online sales in your sector, in your company, in Liguria region?
Yes, I must say that Vasco started selling online in 2003. It was one of the first companies, and it has been doing so, until now. The costs are high. If you understand how our territory is, Liguria has not the best system of transport, routes, streets, roads, so the costs are high. So I must say that up until the beginning of the pandemic, considering it as the year zero for digital transformation, we had already started doing this service. For example, let's consider during the pandemic, we didn't charge people over 65 with the delivery. There has been a moment in which it was not profitable, but then with COVID, our turnover was increased by 4 times. The volumes are not just as high, but compared to pre-COVID times, they have doubled. So we still have a certain reliability, stability in the business. We're not doing much money with it, but it is actually starting to be a profitable business. We started in 2003, but in reality, everyone has been evolving fast. We have now all the modes, so home delivery, delivery in the lockers that are present in our retailers, or also in private companies, in order to allow their employers to just get their grocery shopping after work. So it is a sector, it is a field that is evolving rapidly. It needs investment, and the investments that our company is doing is 80% focused on digital and e-commerce. So it is really something that confirms what has been said by Valentina. We are doing it on all channels, so not just on supermarkets, we are doing it on discounts. We are also doing it on wholesalers, cash and carry. So focusing and being really having care towards the client, the customer. The client is at the center. And these are the guidelines that Soja Gross chose for the future. So, Claudio, I'm addressing you and I'm asking you, how much AI will be of help for us in the everyday shopping experience? For sure, in order to buy, we just need our intelligence. In my case, I rely on my wife, for example, but on some aspects, she relies on me. But where does AI come into place, come into the picture? It can support us on the choice of what we want to buy. Choosing is a cost in terms of time. I lose my time in looking for what I want, what I need. It's a mental. It's an effort. So let's just quote Jeff Bezos and Amazon that makes money not just selling their products, but within the sales experience. So on this paradigm, there are many initiatives that have been created. So the development of algorithm for marketing, for sales, to inform the consumer and to tailor the offer on his or her lifestyle tastes, in order to just track the change in the taste and style of the consumer. Or maybe also initiatives to make the selling price evolving according to where you are shopping or when. So there are many, many variables that can be considered. So let's consider, for example, kits that are pre-prepared by artificial intelligence that kind of suggests to you a basket of products, and that helps you in the process of choosing what to buy. So why is artificial intelligence important? Because AI, if applied correctly, allows the customer to be engaged. So it increases sales, it increases the satisfaction of the customer, and the satisfaction is one of the key elements of of keeping the customer. The platforms that consider and focus on this kind of activities are different one from the other. And where is the difference? It is in the less or more pervasive application, careful application of AI. So there are platforms, for example, that apply rules and pre-made patterns that simply react to an event, but there are other platforms that are more artificial intelligent that somehow foresee choices and events and that can elaborate different information, multiple information. And these platforms not just react to an input, but become proactive within the process. And these are the reasons why within VAR Group we are actively working towards smart marketing automation platforms where, the user-friendly component is important, where AI is important. And these platforms will allow us to just introduce AI within the company, increase the satisfaction in the customer that come to our retailers, for example, because I can answer to what they need in the best way. So, if I'm looking for clothes, I am not interested in tuna, okay? So basically, it is really about giving them what they need. There is also the food online shopping. Oh yeah, I would just call my wife to talk to you about that because she really did her best during the lockdown. Yeah, one of the factors that will help the retailers is really keeping the consensus, so retaining consensus of the customer, using the fidgets, making useful both the physical and the digital channel. So let's go back to Vanni. Vanni. So, as I understand, there are tools that can help us in building relationships within the supermarket. Within supermarkets, there are many relationships that could start. The supermarket is a place where you meet people, okay? And with the pandemic, they have further become a meeting place. They were always open. So relationships can get complicated. And the approach on e-commerce became a very important factor because it gave the customer the opportunity to buy, but while maintaining social distancing. So basically, online retailers just rely upon physical retailers. That is clear. It is, though, hard to imagine that out of the blue, this relationship will just transform and be digital, okay? Technology is helpful, it is a key factor, and if during the pandemic we wouldn't have had technology available, we would have been in a much harder situation. But if we keep the channel open, and we did, we could use technology as a tool, as a connection to the real world. And technology allowed us to overcome this very tough period. And it became efficient thanks to the staff and the people that worked hard to make it so. And over the last few years, not considering the pandemic, the evolution went towards the elimination of the intermediaries, so getting to the customer as directly as possible. So this is a direction towards which everyone is going. Whether we do it in the physical retailer shop or online. So there is the need to get directly to your the person you want to get to, that is the customer. So the customer is at the center. In the past, maybe the product was more at the center, and of course products are key. This is absolutely true, but when we think about what to offer, what product to offer, we first have to put the customer at the very center. So focusing on him, we know what to offer him. So it is here that we need to consider two aspects. One, the channel of communication that is used to communicate with the customer, and now technology allows us to do it in several ways. Let's think to the labels, for example, with the information of the product. And in the past, there was the electronic digital label that used to just give the customer the price of the product. But now it has transformed into a source of information about more complex information on the product. So we can also consider the fruit and vegetables too. This is possible. Considering fruit and vegetables, you do not have labels attached on the product, but you've got electronic information on another label that are providing the consumer with all the information he needs. Information on the specific product, where it comes from, how it is harvested, etc. So it is an old technology, the old label, that has renewed and that has been transformed, and it keeps being updated. So there is something that is very important for us, for example, using an app. The app is one of the newest technologies that we could use within our retail shops, a tool that uses something that everyone has with everyone has, and with the smartphone we could actually have a double relationship. So the customer receives information and gives us information. So these interactive systems have got a double aim, two objectives. So give the customer the satisfaction of not being considered just a mere object of advertisement, but having more satisfaction. The other objective is for the retailers, for the companies, because these systems provide us with information that are useful for us to give them what they need, what they want, trying to answer their needs. So now artificial intelligence comes back once more, helping us to analyze data. So it's not just about a fidelity card, but within that card, that customer card, we've got all the information that we can analyze and use together with the, for example, suggestions that they want to provide us with in order to just meet their needs. Thank you, Vanni. So what about these information, these data elaboration and monitoring? So how do we do it? Oh, I read your question there on the screen. Well, many information. Of course, we have to rely on technology again. So there was a research that was about the average of companies that were worth 1.5 petabytes. So on average, companies manage information up to 15 petabyte. So it has increased exponentially, and it will keep on increasing. And these information represent a great value, and companies and businesses want to take this opportunity and use it in order to be able to do so. Again, we mentioned machine learning, artificial intelligence, but behind this, there must be the support of a technology that is up to use this little treasure that is the information that are shared and that are available to businesses. So Dell Technologies is a leader and has developed a strategy to accompany and to support companies that want to take this opportunity and that start this process of transformation, digital transformation. And the strategy behind it is very specific, that is using the possibilities that are offered by the most modern data centers, the cloud, and all this gives the opportunity to flexibly growing and to develop also applications, so apps that are flexible and that can create new value starting from the data. And all this will be to the benefit of customers that are more and more careful. In the previous panel, some concepts have been mentioned. One of them is safety. Data safety is a key factor. Dell Technologies focuses on this too. So from the point to the edge to the cloud, safety is really about every single point of the process. Because data are the true value, we need to protect them, and we cannot allow them to be attacked. The real crisis of a government, of a company, is losing the ownership, the possibility to use their own data. So we're actually talking about the ransom of data, the data napping, kidnapping, so, like kidnapping. So we really need to be very reliable and rational in this decision. We need to stick to sustainability. We need to be careful to the resource consumption, energy consumption, everything that has been mentioned up until now. And the companies that really go in this direction, they can be really aiming at the consumer. The consumer is focusing on the product, that is true, but they are also now focusing on sustainability, and we cannot just do without it. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabio. So we'll end up with Maurizio. Did I take your name right? I read it on your card here on your badge, so I could not get it wrong. So what's the path of the physical retail? That's a big question. Well, so working with VAR Group is the answer, relying on them, because in this case we can keep our processes under control on a daily basis with simple gestures, simple actions. We have excellent customers we work with, but this is a complex process, and everyone who works in the company is touched by it, is included. So this is why we need to accompany them and work with them so that the digitalization process happens in a smooth way. We cannot have 50 people buying in the buyers sector and just 5 people working on the digitalization. This is not a good company structure, of course. I do think I'm thinking of some examples a few years ago of businesses having just 2 people over all a very big structure, a company structure working on this. But this is not possible anymore. We need to work with processes and work with people. A number of people. We have approximately 40 people working in the big distribution in the food sector. And we have been accompanying them in this process for years, in this digitalization process. And we have always kept in mind that even brick and mortar selling points, so physical shops, are important. We also need to keep in mind the social service, and it's important for businesses to be physically present on the territory even. However, we also need to consider and take the digitalization in consideration and to further develop it. Thank you very much. So thank you Fabio Funari, thank you Maurizio Biagi, Vanni Chioccoloni, Raffaele Latorre, Claudio Lattanzi and Valentina Pontigia for having been with us. So this was the last session of the day. So now, first of all, you need to visit the 4th floor with the Experience Valley. I'm looking at you. Please, tell me one reason to visit Experience Valley. To really see with your own eyes what the guests have talked about on the stage. And even to see Ducati point. Interesting. There is a Ducati point, but is that Fabio Massimo's Ducati? No, that's another one. Okay. Well, it's full of things, interesting things there. So thank you all, also the online audience, for staying with us up to now, today. So tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., remember the running competition. Who is participating? Lift your hands. It's less people visiting the Silicon Valley rather than the people running tomorrow. You can also visit Riccione this evening, even though it's raining cats and dogs probably, but tomorrow we want you here full of energy after your running. Thank you for staying with us. Have a good evening, have fun, and see you tomorrow morning. Jeppe was extraordinary, so we're back too, so let's meet tomorrow again. So thank you all of you for staying with us today. I'm so touched. So many of you stayed with us for so long. And so we're meeting again tomorrow morning approximately at 9:40. So go to bed very early today so that you can run at 7. At 9:30 we'll be back and we'll have a lot of surprises. We'll surprise you with special effects. High quality special effects, of course. And then it will be done. But so see you tomorrow and have fun.